Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ernest Dove. Wanted to give you a little the game recap, post game recap from Clover Park. I enjoyed the game, covering the game tonight. I hope a lot of you checked out some of the videos on social media, on Twitter X, and a few on YouTube. I figured let me just take a few minutes to give a bit more of a verbal game recap as the St. Lucie Mets lose their second game of the season, 6-2. And I guess in wonderful Mets organization, the way they do things, the offense kind of went cold and the bullpen kind of blew it later in the middle to late innings. So it looks like the minor league Mets are kind of looking like the major league Mets, but overall, I can see a lot of positives from the game today for St. Lucie, starting with the starter. Uh, Wyatt. Let me see if I can try to get the name. Wyatt Hudepohl. Wyatt was a fourth round pick last year, and this was actually his pro debut. After getting drafted last season, he ended up not pitching at all. So this was his debut in the Mets organization, and he started really strong. He ended strong. Some of the final tallies on his pitching was basically three scoreless innings, giving up two hits, one walk, six strikeouts. I feel like all six strikeouts probably came on his slider. It was pretty dominant throughout all three innings. It looked pretty much unhittable. It was either strikeouts or they were trying to take the pitches because one way or another, I don't know, the Tortugas weren't really seeing his slider very well. So Hoodpole really was fantastic today. The fastball, I believe it was mostly low 90s, maybe 92, topping 94. But the slider was the pitch, somewhere in the 80s, the slider, and it was just dominant throughout the day. Hitting wise, things were looking good here and there at times. Diego Mascara looked okay at times. Mascara always does his thing in the field. I wish I would have kept filming it, but he also had a diving play outside of first base. He ran from second and made like a bit of a diving, sliding catch, always showing off the defense, Diego Mascara. He also has wonderful hair. If you ever want to check him out, look at the 80 grade hair from Mascara. JD Martinez, obviously the veteran. Hope you check out some of my videos on Twitter X to see some of his one hit that he had, JD Martinez. He also got BIP'd a couple of times. He had a sharp liner into the outfield. Then he lined one at the end of the game in the ninth inning. He ripped one, but the Tortuga infielders at shortstop and third base, it looks like they have like two gold glovers out there. They were doing 360s with accurate arms. It was insane the whole night. But overall, JD Martinez, you still have to like what you saw. He roped about three balls. He got a hit on one, lined out on one, hit the sharp grounder in the ninth, and he also had a walk in the game. I guess my little thing about JD Martinez is in the ninth inning, 3-0 pitch, he took it, and it was, I don't know if it was middle, but it was in the zone. He took a 92-mile-an-hour pitch on a 3-0 count. I was kind of hoping that he was going to take a swing on that one, but he didn't. But overall, good outing. Obviously, he looked good. He was healthy and he played. So hopefully, JD Martinez will be on his way up soon to the Mets. Colin Houck, I mean, got small sample size look out of him. I do like his swing. The defense looked pretty strong at shortstop. Pretty talented young man from last year's first round pick at a high school. So possibly, look into bigger and better things from Colin Houck throughout the rest of the season because he does look good overall. The balance of everything, I think he has it. It's just going to take time, and this is the right place for him in St. Lucie. He might spend most, if not all, of the year here. It would make sense. Uh, Jesus Baez. Jesus, exit velocity Baez. Everything he does, he hits hard. He did have the one drilled into right center for a triple for an RBI. It was a monster hit. It's kind of what he's known for. It was the only hit he had of the game, but some of the other shots that he had, the wind was blowing in because I love to use excuses from my Mets guys, but the wind was blowing in most of the night. And Jesus Baez is one of those guys who hits ropes everywhere on the field, regardless, left, right, center. He was hitting it hard, but he had the one hit. But again, he's a guy you're going to have to look out for all year, Jesus Baez. Played third base today, looked okay at third base. He's pretty much more of a middle infielder, but the Mets have a lot of them. So he spent some time today at third. Who knows where he'll be next time? But again, he hits rockets. So let's see ongoing how he continues to progress. He's still a very young player. Maybe by the time he hopefully gets to Double A, he seems like the kind of guy that's going to be hitting a lot of doubles and probably, hopefully, be one of those 20 plus home run guys. It's what he looks like, the way he barrels on the ball. Uh, Nick Morabito, he's the guy that was on base a lot. He had a hit and 2 walks. Defensively, I think he was okay. My little small sample size, getting an eye of him out in center field. He's one of those guys who's been playing center field since he got drafted. He plays a little second base. Probably could even see him in left and right field, but tonight was in center field. All in all, looked okay. Nick Morabito, I do like the bat as well. So keep an eye on him. Ronald Hernandez does what Ronald Hernandez does, apparently. Him and Marco Vargas came over from the Marlins in that Robertson trade, and they've been walking ever since. And lo and behold, Ronald Hernandez has a couple of more walks. Looked like he got dinged up playing first base today when there was a pickoff move, but he did stay in the game. So obviously, hopefully all things are well for Ronald Hernandez, who again, overall looks good. The plate discipline you got to love in the low minors for a guy who has the patience. So, and again, it's one of those situations. The Mets have about 3 catchers on this roster in the lineup. So what do? They seem to be alternating between first base, DH, and catcher. Maybe that's going to be the trend for a lot of the year for St. Lucie while they continue to have all of these catchers there. The actual catcher for today was Vincent Peroso, who also had a hit today. I love his left-handed swing. I believe he also had a bases-loaded walk, so you got to love that when you have the patience to walk with the bases loaded for his RBI. The one news that I'm not really sure what the status is, but towards the end of the game, Vincent Peroso, there were some things going on while he was catching that involved even the umpire, coaches, and a trainer. And at the end of the game, Peroso did have to be replaced by Cuevas. So we do have to keep on. I'm sorry, Christopher Suero did come in and replace Vincent Peroso at catcher. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. I mean, visually, I really couldn't see what was going on, but there was a lot of talk at the plate, right behind the plate, before he was taken out of the game. So obviously keep an eye on Vincent Peroso, a very young catcher. Might even be arguably the best defensive catcher of the 3 that are on the Mets, the St. Lucie Mets. But let's keep an eye out, obviously, for this possible injury to see how that works out. Also, we have to get more into the pitching. Again, Wyatt Hudepohl looked fantastic. And then after his innings, we seem to have the youth being youth. A lot of my concerns with these guys like Lionel Ovias and Saul Garcia, 2 guys that I love very much. They're both 20 years old, right-handers. Ovias at times looked very strong with his breaking ball. I believe it was a slider. The fastball was low 90s. It just looked like the command just wasn't really there. I don't know if he was throwing too fast, throwing too quick. Maybe he seemed a little kind of jumpy. It just didn't look positive up and down throughout his time in how he pitched. He ended up with 4 walks on the night. He only got credited for the 2 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, and 2 Ks. Again, it looked like command and location wasn't always there. So they kind of were tagging it when the ball was falling over the plate. But there were issues with the breaking ball, and it just wasn't really connecting very much tonight for Ovias, who's still a very talented young arm. So let's see how he continues to progress, because we were seeing some of that as well last year. And that's also probably another reason why he's repeating low A. So let's see as he continues to progress. Same with Saul Garcia. Another issue with His fastball at times was high rising, but then when it dropped a little bit and it looked like some of the hitters were able to start timing it at some point. So that's why he got touched up. He only lasted an inning and 2/3, giving up 4 hits, 4 runs, and 2 walks to go with his 3 Ks. I believe probably all 3 of his Ks were either on the high rising fastball or a really good breaking ball slider at times. It's just the command, control, location, location, location. Both for Ovias and Garcia are really good, talented right-handed pitchers, both 20 years old. The slider has to be more consistent. You always want to see the ball down, even for a guy like Garcia, with the ball at its best. When it started high rising, getting a strikeout, but then it seemed like maybe at the end, guys started timing it, trying to figure out, probably guessing right on that higher fastball, and they were able to connect on it. So that's something to look out for as well. And then at the end, there's no better way than the man, the myth, apparently the legend for Alan Perdomo. This guy looks like just the dancing star out there. He was pretty fun to watch. He's like the James Brown of organized baseball, perhaps. He was an interesting guy to watch. He's very skinny. He kind of looks like he's all legs, probably about a $150 soaking wet. And I heard he throws really hard. He was throwing 92, 93 throughout his innings, which, by the way, he did throw all 2 1/3 scoreless innings, 3 hits, 3 Ks. He was touching more 91, 93, but then he threw a random pitch that was 95. And I'm hearing he can throw 95 plus, actually. So, again, only speaking on tonight where he topped 95, mostly sat 93. I did, towards the end of the game in the ninth inning, I believe it was the ninth inning, they told him to just go ahead and throw all curveballs. I love his curveball. It was between 77, 79 miles an hour. It had a nice hook to it. He was getting strikeouts on the breaking ball. It just looks like at that point, when the curveball started coming over and over and over and over, the Tortugas could not hit it. So it looks like the coaches were just basically just going to keep calling it until they were able to hit it, and they basically didn't. But this guy has an amazing dance after every strikeout. And then to top it all off in the ninth inning, Perdomo gets the ground ball to him. He literally kisses the ball before he throws it to first for the final out for the top of the ninth. So you know what? Shout out to Allen. He looks like an amazing, fun guy to cover and watch all year. And that's my quick wrap up of the game. Please continue to support me. Continue to watch everything I can try to put on Twitter, on social media, on YouTube. Follow me on YouTube. And hey, till next time, I'll try to give these wonderful recaps the best I can. I'm out.